Hello, friends. A very warm welcome to you to the series of Keep Moving Movement sessions that we are going to post on the portal for all of you. Now, what is Keep Moving Movement? About 20 years back, a group of 16 volunteers got together and said we want to do something for the society. They had a mentor called Naren. Naren ran an organization called Life School, and they approached him to give them something which is very purposeful. And this is what Naren narrated to these group of 16 volunteers, which then today becomes the biggest grassroots level voluntary movement that our country has, called Keep Moving Movement. He said, a gas balloon has the potential to rise as high as possible by itself. What do I mean by this? If I release a gas balloon here, it will go up to 10 feet on its own. And if there is no ceiling to the building and it's in open air, it will continue to travel without any push. It is the gas inside the balloon that helps it reach as high as it wants. But you know what the irony is? A small string, which even a 2-year-old can just snap off. If I tie that balloon to that string and put it on a chair or on a table and attach it there inside a room or even outside, that balloon will stay there. It will stay there for a day upright, then it will start losing its pressure and come down, but it will stay there. Knowingly, unknowingly, each one of us develops certain attitudes in our life which are like these threads. And if I don't spend some time reflecting on what are the threads that I have developed, how can I break it? Is it helping me? I become my own obstacle in reaching the heights that I can. Naren explained to these 16 volunteers, if you could talk to students who are in their teens, who are just about to take their flight of life, and talk to them about how can they identify these threads, snap them off, and reach their glory and height, we would have helped create champions in this world. 20th of January 2001, these 16 volunteers started the journey of Keep Moving Movement. Keep Moving Movement today is one of the largest grassroots level movements in the world, with 750 volunteers taking these sessions across 75 cities in India, 12 cities across another 7 countries of the world. So that's what Keep Moving Movement is all about. I am Jyoti Gosavi from Keep Moving Movement, who's going to take these sessions in the weeks to come. And let's see if together we can identify these threads, smile at them, snap them off, and take our flight for life. I have had the privilege to meet one of the most outstanding champions our country could have ever had. I'm talking about Arunima Sinha, the first amputee to climb Mount Everest from India. In 2014, I had the privilege to meet her, and she has broken multiple threads that I was unknowingly carrying and holding my balloon to the ground. As she narrated her story to me, I could feel the pain that she's gone through and yet emerged as a victorious champion. Do you know that she was a sports lady? She was traveling to Delhi for one of her matches. Some robbers in the train attempted to snatch her gold chain off. She resisted. There was a tussle, and in that tussle, they pushed her out of the train. This girl landed on the tracks, and a train was coming from the opposite direction. It ran over her leg, and crushed one of her legs below the knee. She says she was in so much pain that time that she couldn't move at all. She suffered multiple fractures in her spine. This incident happened towards the evening, and this area was deserted. So nobody came running to pick her up from the track. It seems through the night, 47 trains ran over the same leg. And when I met her, this lady tells me, when the trains came, I used to feel thankful. Why? Because when the train was not passing and I was lying there wounded, there were mice and rats which were eating and nibbling at my wounds. And that was causing more pain. Early in the morning, some passerby saw her. They lifted her and took her to a nearby hospital. There is a small hamlet, so the hospital didn't have enough facilities. She was told she had to amputate the leg immediately from stopping the poison to develop and spread through her body. And if the trauma that she had gone through the night was not enough, she was told there was no anesthesia in that small little hospital. But she had to cut the leg. With no anesthesia, this girl goes through the surgery where her one leg is amputated. She was then shifted to Delhi, to AIIMS Hospital. Months and months of surgeries, lying in the hospital bed with pipes running all through the body. And she went through those few moments of weakness and vulnerability where she happened to tell her brother, I feel like giving up, I don't want to live anymore. And she says it was my brother who said, if you really want to feel sorry for yourself now, do something great and then feel sorry for yourself. The fact that this incident has happened in your life, you should be able to become the number one in something. That ignited the spark in this girl. She said, now I will climb Mount Everest as the first amputee in the world. And that will be the first championship I want to win. She contacted Bachendri Pal, the very famous person who has climbed the Mount Everest, reached her in a state of pain. Bachendri Pal was concerned, how would you climb? And this girl said, no, I want to do it. Arunima was telling us, she started practicing, and when she went to the base camp of Mount Everest, and then they started their practice climbs towards the peak, there were times when the entire group would start climbing the peak. Midway, she had to sit down, remove the prosthetic leg that she had attached to her knee. The stump of her knee would have sores and wounds. She would sit and clean her own wounds, bandage it, attach the prosthetic leg, and then start her climb back. She said, there were hours of agony, but this thing that I need to do something worthwhile with my life was so strong that she said, I'm not going to feel sorry for myself, but I'm going to go up. There are certain qualities that these people who become champions have. They don't mind putting in the hard work. They don't mind being disciplined. They don't mind doing their 100% and a little more with determination. And then they are very genuine to their own goals. They don't give excuses or become lazy. She goes on to narrate, the day I climbed Mount Everest, the peak, and I dug the Indian flag on that peak, I realized the only way to live life is not to feel sorry for yourself, but create something out of everything that happens which is not okay. This is what champions do not do. They do not feel sorry for themselves. Another person who comes to my mind when I speak about this is Charlie Chaplin. So many documentaries and movies that I have seen of him, and I would have gone into peals of laughter, fall on the ground when my friends are sitting, give them a high five, and enjoyed those moments. And this gentleman comes from such a poor family that his mother had to put them in an orphanage because she could not feed them. Mother died as a psychological patient, father died as an alcoholic. This guy had every reason to go into dismay, feel depressed, and say, my life is over. But champions don't feel sorry for themselves. Champions rise. Champions make every act which makes them feel a little difficulty is coming ahead, they change it into an opportunity. He changed it and became one of the most decorated comedians that this world has ever experienced. Young, old, new generation, old generation, all of us will definitely enjoy one series by Charlie Chaplin. Many times, most of us, when faced with difficulties, go through this, psychodrama. And then there are these statements which plague us. Statements like, why is this happening to me? I think I'm not lucky enough. I'm destined for only bad things. Why nobody is understanding me? Why all this is happening only towards me? This is not fair. It's not my mistake. Why am I being punished? These statements seem to grip our mind. And between these 4 inches, they form so many threads, a strong rope, and doesn't let us come out. And what happens when I go through this? There are some classic issues that happen when I go through this psychodrama. What does making sorry about myself do to me? Some very fine pointers which we should be aware of. Point number 1. When I feel sorry for myself, I waste a lot of time and energy and keep on thinking about what's happening and don't move ahead. Second point, there is lack of excitement in life. We miss out on things. I don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like talking to anyone. I miss out on the joys of life. Point number 3, we invite a whole lot of negative emotions with our negative attitudes. Obviously, when I'm feeling sad, I'm not going to feel like getting up and jumping and playing football. So I go through a lot of negativity. Fourth, these negative attitudes lead me to failures and we continue to feel sorry for ourselves. It's a never-ending cycle. And most important, we lose out on friends. Because when we are negative, we become a complaint box. We keep on complaining, this is not okay, that is not okay, people are not talking properly to me. And then my friends don't want to talk to me. Each one of us needs to rise above this entire act of feeling sorry. Knowingly or unknowingly, we do that. Today, let's take a decision to rise above it. One young sportsman from our country has recently shown us that if one decides to rise above this feeling of sorry for self, glory is not far from catching. Who is he? Yashasvi Jaiswal. Born in a small village in Uttar Pradesh. At the age of 10, this guy decides his dream is to play cricket and he wants to be as good as Sachin Tendulkar. Tells his father, I want to go to Bombay. Father doesn't stop him because there are 7 mouths to feed in the house and there is no money. Yashasvi reaches Bombay, starts working in a dairy, does up and down to Azad Maidan to learn cricket. Since it is too far and he's not able to contribute to work, he gets kicked out of his job. No money, no place to stay. What does he do? He befriends one of the watchmen near Azad Maidan and starts living in his tent. He says it was a very difficult time. There's no light in the tent. There are no toilets around. In the night when it rains, it used to fill the tent with water. He could not stay in the tent. And for a few years, he stayed like that and continued to do his training. One fine coach one day understood his value, took him under his mentorship, and today Yashasvi Jaiswal, for the IPL season of 2020, was bought by Rajasthan Royals for 2.4 crores. You know, when he was in that dairy, he could have felt very sorry for himself. Life is like this. It's very difficult. I have to give up on my dream. But he had a single focus in mind. No matter what issues I have to go through, I will reach my dream. No feeling sorry for myself. What can I do next is the question that he asks himself. You and me can achieve all our dreams if we decide to rise above feeling sorry for ourselves. And how can we do that? Let's all go through a small exercise. I'll ask you a few questions. Just jot down a few answers to it. And I'm very sure after the end of this exercise, we would have found out a way to rise above any self-pity that might ever arise in our minds. Ready to go? So your first question is here. What issue or complication or conflicts are you living with and you think no one can understand what you're going through? Take a minute and write down. Your second question is, can you think about an issue that you are suffering because of others' decisions or pressurizing or bullying? Question number 3, a situation when you were treated unfairly. Can you jot down any incident where you feel that something unfair and untoward happened towards you? Now, the next question, I want you all to write down, how did these incidents make you feel? What were the emotions that you went through? Was it anger? Was it frustration? Was it irritation? Please note. Next question. How does feeling sorry for yourself help you? Now, this one is the most important question. What decision or action will you take to create a better version of you? You know, when Yashasvi Jaiswal would have been told by his employee, I'm kicking you out of employment, he would have gone through a lot of emotions. But I'm very sure he would have asked himself this question: what action or decision should I take to get out of this? And in those moments, knowingly or unknowingly, he would have made a I'm not going to feel sorry for myself card and pasted it in his heart. Let all of us do that. You know, carry on our books, on our mobiles if we have, this one statement: I will not feel sorry for myself. And if I can do that, that's my first step to rise towards championship. Wish you all the best in this taking first step, and I'll come back with more. Thank you so much. Have a great day.